Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Welcome to your Friday morning edition of Second Breakfast. Hope you guys are all having a great day and getting ready for the weekend. It's going to be a busy one. I got a whole bunch of crap I got to do this weekend, but I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys at least Saturday night and then Saturday afternoon over on OGGM's channel. We're going to play a little um, superhero action, and then Saturday night we're going to do the Mutant Crawl Classic funnel with Omen as our GM, and then Sunday my usual Sunday game, and then all the crap I got to do behind the scenes, and hopefully make it into book three of Magician. Actually, I believe it's Silverthorn, which is book three of the Rift War saga. Digging it. Um, if you get a chance, check it out. If not, read something else. That's besides the old adage, reading is fundamental. Uh, it's some of the best ways to get inspired for what we do here on the Shadow and Sun Show and in this hobby. Um, not gonna lie, I just watched most of Joe the Lawyer's uh, journeyman video, and I couldn't disagree more. I get the premise, always learning, obviously. Otherwise, you're kind of dead, technically, in my opinion. But I've done this enough to where if there's a title, I want it. If there's a title, I deserve it. I've earned it, and um, I'm gonna wear it with pride. I know pride's not a great thing. Sometimes it's a horrible thing, but what's up, Shellback? How you doing, man? Ready for the weekend, or is it already the weekend where you're at? Um, yeah, I got a lot of crap I got to do this weekend, grocery shopping, that sort of thing. And I just got a 6 hour nap. Nice, nice. I working on my espionage game. Looks like Wednesday night's going to be the night. That's when just about everybody can actually make it. Still waiting to hear back from Bloodworth, but I realize he just had a procedure done and he's on the mend. But he did mention he wanted to be in it. Mike, if you're still interested, Wednesday night, 5 p.m. my time, we still have the cleric, the thief, and possibly a monk. If we get 7 players, I'll let a monk be in the party to make an even 7 players. But I still have a lot of work to do. The more I'm reading with this particular set of books, the more I realize I got a lot of work to do. I've got a crap ton of work to do to really flesh out the world. Uh, I realize that most games don't do a lot of, not just the espionage thing, which actually most games actually do a lot of the investigative work and the sneaking and the gathering of information and putting the pieces together. But rubbing elbows with royalty and things like that, that's like nobody ever does that. You're always the piss boy, the peasant, the peon, and these guys are going to get to start way above that in rank, just not actual skill and ability, because that's how the games work. You got to start out as a schlub in one way or the other, but you don't have to start dirt poor and nameless and whatnot just to earn the right to be at the table. I kind of hate that whole concept in fantasy role playing. You always have to start out at the bottom of the freaking the tier list. Even though as like first levelers you're supposed to be above, but yet every GM treats you like you're less than scum. And these guys are all going to be somewhat one way or another. Either they or their parents are of uh, uh, some sort of nobility, royalty, uh, even beyond landed gentry. Uh, PF1E had a book dedicated to political intrigue, ultimate intrigue. It's called cool, but I don't want to own anything by Paizo. They can suck it along with Wizards of the Coast. I hope they all die in a car accident or of cancer. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but they've said far worse, done far worse to this hobby, and will continue to do so until someone puts a stop to their malevolence. Uh, yeah, even seven. That's the most players I've ever run. I've run the biggest game I ever ran was 21 players, three groups of seven, and I had an assistant at the ready. It was three groups of seven player characters, all landing in different parts of an island, looking for the treasure. They had three parts of the map, and the winners got to sail away with the treasure. But that was, oh god, that was a long time ago. I was still in my 20s, so almost 40 years ago. Oh no, wait. I might have only been like 19 at the time. No, I don't know. It's so long ago. I don't really keep track of some things like that I should, just because I can't even really tell you why. What's up, Hungar? How you doing, bro? Your brother was here. He was kind enough to grace us with his presence. I'm wondering when we're going to get to see Hungar hang out, live and in person, as it were. Hope you're doing well and that the family's having a good time. I don't know about you guys, but even though it's technically not the case, I'm really kind of feeling summer come to a close for whatever reason. 4th of July is a month gone, and I know we still got to get through September. Three separate tables, one room, one afternoon. Yeah, it was pretty big. It was pretty fun, and a nice mix of boys to girl ratio, and uh, different people from different walks of life and things like that. Um, Mind you, this was back in the day when we were still trying to make it big in the rock and roll biz, and so we had a lot of people we hung out with. I'm not going to say fans because we never got to anything like that, but we had a lot of friends, and it was a lot of fun. And I was going to bring this up more yesterday, but we got sidetracked. Absolutely, Shellback, you cannot have uh, a good game that has any sort of piracy without cannons. Just ballistas and catapults. Just you might as well be playing a Bronze Age game if you're going to do that. I mean, unless you're playing a historical fantasy, it's your world. So why the hell can't or couldn't the dwarves have figured out gunpowder, you know, millennia earlier than here on Earth, and mastered it, and then started selling it to the humans and watching the humans go ape shit with it and do all kinds of crazy crap, like make cannons on boats, right? Um, Sorry. Uh, I have no tolerance for uh, their kind of bullshit. Um, it's I've read their game, first edition, and uh, I played it, and it's just the whole feat system just distracts everybody from what they should be focusing on. The idea of builds, and you gotta have this feat before you do this thing, and you got to have this feat, or your character's ruined. Uh, it just we didn't come up in this hobby thinking about those kind of things. We weren't motivated by this. We were motivated by what was actually happening in the game. That's the most important thing, is what's going on in the world, not just you and your compatriots, but what's happening, in the town, in the city, in the country, the nation that you're living in. We know that stuff right now. Most of us know what's going on, and most of us with any actual functioning brain cells know, what's going on in the world, and we don't even try hard. It's not like most of us are like me, doom scrolling all day, which I've cut down considerably. Uh, we go outside. We go to the store. We know things. We learn things about what's going on. It's not just where's the next dungeon. Let's hurry up and get there and kill monsters. That should be only 25% of the game. There's so many other things going on that you need to pay attention to. If there's a war, in the next region, it's going to affect everything around you. Go to the grocery store and tell me I'm wrong, right? Inflation and scarcity and things like that can drive so much more than if you can't get food at the tavern because there's a war going on and the taxes are insane. Going to the dungeon is going to be the least of your worries, because you can't get the food to make it there, unless you're a ranger or a druid or somebody like that, or a cleric who can create food and water, in which case you should be feeding the people in the town, the village, etc. Otherwise they're going to figure out, hey, those guys aren't, they're not getting skinny and looking malnourished. What's up? Where are they eating? Let's find out. Let's beseech the cleric to start making some food and water for us. uh, that was the weakness of the feat system. It should have been a group of abilities you unlock as you level up a feat tree. Sure, I suppose. And players being build focused or wanting the biggest numbers has always been a big thing, though. In the games that I played growing up playing, um, you just got what you got. This was your path. You were going to get these things, and maybe through play you could tweak them a little here or there, and hedge your bets by gaining better equipment, or taking some time out to train in a thing. But and the whole idea of no training, you just suddenly I want to be a magic user, but you were a barbarian before. Yeah, I want to be a magic user now. Okay, I guess you're a magic user now. There are things that prevent other things from happening. And being a barbarian, you're never going to be a wizard. You just or you're going to stop being a barbarian. I mean, you'll still have the abilities and the memories and the skills, but you're no longer that guy. You're no longer ooh, magic bad, and you get your strength from despising it. I was the oddball in that rule set environment, and that I was interested in my character emerging through the story instead of the yeah, because as soon as see, I'm the bad guy here, I guess. As soon as I would catch wind, if I ever did, of you trying to make this super build, I would throw so many obstacles uh, in your way to see if you could still do that, because life gets in the way. All of us grew up wanting to be cowboys, firemen, and astronauts. I don't know. I know a few firemen. That's about it, but no astronauts and no cowboys. Maybe Cal is kind of a cowboy, but you get my drift. We want to be this when we're young, and we try, but life's going to come in and kick you in the nuts and say, guess what? You need to learn how to do this first, or this instead. Um, you can't tell me what I can and can't be. Um, well, life does that. Life absolutely tells you what's going to be. To be fair, there's never been a good barbarian class. Well, because it's not a class. Conan was a thief. He was a warrior. Uh, in addition to, on top of being a barbarian, cowboys make no money. That is why we didn't go that route. Well, back in the day, it wasn't about money. It was about being a cowboy, you know, or being a rock star, or the other things. Oh, I know, George. Um, it's life has other plans for you. I wanted to be an X-wing pilot, right? Fuck, who didn't want to do that at least for like 1 hour of your life, if not more? As a matter of fact, I found an X-wing, the action figure airplane, the X-wing fighter. I found it in the river, right? And I spent so many hours trying to I took it completely apart, got it to where it would light up and make the sound again, and repainted it, peeled off all the old stickers, and did everything. There were certain parts I could never get, like the cockpit and some of the guns, but I still dreamed, like that scene where Luke's actually playing with the model spaceship. He's in his 20s and he's still dreaming of that. And we dreamt of doing things, but things happen, things change. What if you wanted to be this, but then you have a little skill in this other thing, and what uh, uh, the world says, hey, we need this from you instead. you know Countless people have turned away from their childhood dream to do what was right and what was needed in the world. I know people who became fighter pilots, astronauts, just weren't as cool when we found out they had to wear diapers and stalk their married lover across 5 state lines. Okay, I that's some inside baseball I'm not familiar with, but you still get my point, guys. Um, you can't plot every aspect of your life and 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 think it's going to uh, uh, come out exactly as you want it. If you think that's going to work, um, got some news for you. Some of the greatest stories in fantasy fiction are precisely that. A character, wants to do this thing, but life says we got other plans, and then they become something even greater. You know, or like in the story I'm reading, these two kids say, "When I grow up, I'm going to be this," and they grow up and be that. But it's fantasy, and even then, they didn't quite get what they wanted. It was way different. Oh, hey, second breakfast with Shadow and Sun is starting. Just got the notification from YouTube. I get that too. Um, like when I do my morning video, like this morning, like an hour later, it'll say premiering, and I'm like, the premiere's over, guys. I already watched it. I'd actually set my clock to wake me up like just a few minutes before the morning show, so I could be there with you guys when you watch it. There's certain people that are almost always there in the chat, and I found out no, I need to wake up about a half hour before the show, or I will be scrambling right before this show to because I got to make breakfast and uh, do a couple other things and feed the dog, and it just was I was giving myself like an hour and 5 minutes to be here on time, and that was just not enough time. So that sucks, but it's all because I've been reading those books, and every night this week I broke my rule of staying up past midnight. One night I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning reading those books because the time just flies by. It's like, oh, it's 11:30. I can read another chapter, but then the chapters end up being like 20 or 30 pages or more, and then next thing I know, it's after midnight and I should be in bed, but nope. But I'm really enjoying these books a lot uh, because when I read them the first time, I was about 19. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Dude, don't even get me started. even as a 45-year-old man taking Jackie into Toys R Us, those were some of the best memories I had growing up. And it was no accident that they went out of business. um, if you go into any like Walmart or Target or anything like that, and go into the toy section, you'll find that the music section in those stores is bigger than the toy section, or pretty damn close to that. They don't want us playing with stuff, you know, building things like Legos and playing with Hot Wheels and using our imagination and our hands. Think about it. The bad guys, they want us weak and incompetent and just glued to our electronic device or whatever part of the assembly line of life that we're relegated to. And having those tactile interactions with things was one of the things that makes us, you know, more skilled, better people. Okay, I noticed when Jackie, he was only a year and a half old, and I got him just a off eBay, like a little bag of blue Lego blocks, the 2x4 rectangles, and he started building stuff, because they were big enough to where he couldn't choke on them. And it unlocked so many things about his personality and the way he thinks by doing stuff like that, compared to most of the kids he grew up with that were glued to a phone or a tablet as soon as they could, do it, because parents have become insanely lazy over the past generation or so. I hate going into Toys R Us. It smells like mildew and everything is extra expensive. We don't have Toys R Us. What are you talking about? Um, they all closed down years ago, as far as I knew. If you've got one, um, you should go in there and tell them to clean the place up, make some complaints, but uh, frequent them and keep them in business. The sporting goods, the bikes, whatever other kind of toys your nieces and nephews are into, get them for them. Keep them, grounded in doing things with their hands, not just pushing buttons and just being programmed by the algorithms and stuff. I ordered Bears 5E Heroic. Been in a superhero kick. That's awesome. Watch a bunch of Watchmen stuff now. I am on. Oh, really? That's a deep dive. I actually, back in the day, we had this place called Woolco. Some of you may remember, and Woolco used to have these giant bins. So almost the bin would barely fit in this room, and it's like 10 by 12. But so it was like, say it was a 6 by 6 bin, right? A couple of feet off the ground, full of Charlton comic books, and I could go in there and get like 10 for a buck. So I had the Question and Monster Hunters. Thank you, Coco, for finding it for me. There was this. He found a comic book that I had been looking for by knowing one or two frames of what was in it. And he did a search and he found the exact issue, and I was able to pick it up for a couple of bucks. And I read it. It was cheesy, but it had that scene that I'll never forget, where these monster hunters happen to have a vampire in their group, which I'm just like, I'm loving that. That whole, goofy 70s, mod squad kind of monster hunter theme, but at the same time, the colonel was like an old British guy, African safari hunter kind of guy in the group, and she tries to snuggle up to him and bite him on the neck, but he's got this special leather collar, um, and she couldn't bite through it, and I'm like, he found that exact comic book. I picked it up. It's got a great cover, but like all those Charlton comic books, they were, like I said, like 10 for a buck, and we'd go there, and and I was so sad when they were gone. I had Peacemaker. I really liked that one, uh, and just all kinds of just oddball comics. Because I at the time I was still getting Marvel and DC comics, but here was this other company with you know there was something cool about the fact that they were like the Timu, comic company, if you will. Uh, seen what, Shellback? Yeah, I was going to say, if you've got Toys R Us, there's one. You got one, of course, in Japan. See, I mean, they're going to be one of the last vestiges of actual toys, I think, in the world. Them in China, because they get it. They want their kids to to have all the different experiences from playing with to breaking to maybe even trying to repair a toy. Um, yeah, they went bankrupt, exactly, and we damn near cried, both me and the boy, when they closed their doors, because we used to go there on Saturdays for a little Lego events. You they'd let you build this little thing, and then you get to keep it. And of course, every time we went, we'd buy something, and plan for birthdays and holidays and Christmases, and when the new Lego Hero Factory sets would be coming out, the next wave. I'm telling you, those were some cool ass Legos, and he's got them all still in boxes and bins. We had a lot of fun. Just they've been out for 10 years. Is it? Are you sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure the boy, it's got to be more like 5 or 6, uh, because the last Legos I got him were for like his 11th or 12th birthday, and that's when he kind of stopped playing with Legos, um, which is a shame. But kind of got to grow up and do other stuff. Uh, Woolworth and Wilco. Okay, you remember, and there he is. Say his name, and he appears. Coco. I was just talking about how you found that Monster Hunters comic book for me, because I didn't even remember the name, right? And I just knew it was a Charlton comic, and I told you 2 frames, and I mean, it probably wasn't too hard to Google or AI search for it, considering Charlton Comics probably only had about 500 comics in their whole freaking history of existing, but. Um, I thoroughly enjoyed them. They also had Gold Key, which is actually insane, because if I was smart, I would have stocked up on Uncle Scrooge, and things like that. What's up, Death Angel? Welcome to the show. Bum, 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 bum. How you doing, man? Get a little Indiana Jones theme song for your arrival music.
Oh, okay. Uh,
What the fuck?
thanks for the serenade there, man.
Anytime, anytime.
How you been?
I've been awesome. Unless you ask my wife, in which case she'll say other things. But in June 2018 is when they closed their final stores in US. Okay, so wow.
So yeah, it's been not 10 years. It's been 8 years.
Okay,
So yeah,
uh,
but
so yeah, so the boy was 8 years was 10 years old. So I
now
just
the company apparently technically exists, and as somebody else pointed out about the same time as I did, I think they were doing like these little pop-up shops inside of like Macy's department stores. I don't even know if Macy's is still around anymore, though. Half the malls are dead.
yeah, Dino Laser just said that. Yeah,
Yeah, he said it at like almost the same exact time I was typing it.
there's one in LA and one in Modesto.
Is that a Macy's with a Toys R Us inside of it, or is that an actual
Or
true
maybe it's a
Toys R
full
Us?
fledged. I don't know. Same company made Hit Parade magazine. They did comics to keep the printing presses running. Right. And if you deep dive, Charlton and some of the other comic book companies, or maybe some of the other companies, were kind of doing it to launder money as well,
As long as they
which
weren't
is
printing
weird.
money, right?
Well, in a way, I mean, it's totally legal to do that if you're WotC and you're printing Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards. That's
and then
insane.
and then
That's
throwing
literally,
them away,
well, I mean,
taking
you could literally, at a certain point, uh, they were very much like currency, to the point that there was a
Oh
joke
yeah,
in an article in some magazine, maybe Scry or something, how in the future people will use them as currency. rare
Yeah, because
cards and things like that. And if they did things right, or maybe that's what they do, is they print up. Think about it. They could run a print of like this expansion of Magic the Gathering, right? And they could make it so that they only print out like X number of a certain super powerful rare card for actual discovery in booster packs. But then over here they just got this stack of them, and when the price goes crazy because of how powerful they are, then they just start handing them out to employees. Yeah, go cash these in.
yeah. Well, they. I
I
mean,
could
that's
totally do that, and no one would ever know um,
so many. Yeah, but
until
they can only do it so many times before. That's what they were doing though. Is they That's why this whole universe is beyond thing that they made at the announcement that they made at their keynote thing. Now I don't play Magic. I'm not a Magic player. I never got hooked on the game. Never was my cup of tea. But um, I know a lot of folks who do, and they hate the whole fact that the universe is beyond thing came out on Magic the Gathering, and now of course they're doing it to D&D,
hmm
where they're
yeah,
just
I've got my books. I've been playing AD&D and other games that are some out of print, some still in print. I don't need to buy the newest thing because somebody tells me to. These all these old games were it's like video games.
yep,
I have never played the Grand Theft Auto line. I have them all. I bought them used years after they were at their height when they were like so super super popular. Got all the strategy guides. Those games were great back then. They're still great now. If I plug them in and I go play, I will have the same experience except the camaraderie of all the other people playing it right now. But if the game is good or even great, it's going to still play the same way, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I've got a 20-year-old arcade machine that
And it's still fun. And
oh,
and and
and it's
it,
got Galaga, Pac-Man, and Miss Pac-Man on it, and it's a
nice.
real cabinet. It's not one of those player one up ones. I think they went out of business too. That made their things out of like that really thin press board. They were selling them at like Costco and Walmarts and stuff, right? They were just made real cheaply, made in China and all that stuff, and had an emulator board. This is a real got the real ROMs on there. So
I was thinking about getting something like that sooner or later. I really wanted a Star Castle with some other games in it.
yeah,
My buddy had one, and we played the hell out of it. That was a hard game, but my point is that these games like our RPGs,
yeah,
uh,
free
if
playability.
they're no longer good, really, I'll take them off your hands.
Hmm.
There's a reason why some games and game books sell for what they sell for because they're still viable. There's still an audience out there for them, whether they're collectors or gamers. I'm not really certain. I think it's a mix. Otherwise, they're going to all end up in the like
Well,
not even in a landfill, but in a pulp mill to recycle books so they could grind down your player's handbook to make the next freaking Wizards of the Coast book.
well, I mean, no, no, don't you know? They're just totems now. Just things for collectors to keep.
I don't
They're
know. I
gonna,
pull out my player's handbook. I was just talking about it yesterday when I broke out my monster manual looking for a particular monster, and I open right to the monster. Um, if Joe, if that ain't freaking being a master, I don't know what is. Oh, dude.
yeah,
Oh,
I think it's on page 56 of the Dungeon Master Guide. Oh, look, there it is, right there. Oh no, page 57. You were
yeah.
off by one. You know, that always amazes me. I'm not quite that adept, but
And this was a brand new print, a reprint from uh, Drive Through. But I still know the book so well that I can open up to the page, and I did that 3 times in Sunday's game. I opened right to the page in a different book that I was looking for. I just opened up to that page. If that ain't a magic user ability, I don't know what is. Okay, um, and I still, it's like when you crack an egg with one hand perfectly, or when you play a song just right, or you get the exact you go for the scoop of sugar or whatever, and you shake it and it's perfect. It's like, oh, that's perfect. Psh. You know,
What are you putting sugar in?
oh, just an example, any
Oh,
spice, salt, pepper, like you're making
oh
potatoes
yeah,
or
yeah.
something, and you do the thing, and sometimes you get a rounded spoon, but if you know how to shake it, just right, it'll level off, and you're like, that's what I want, because you know the above the level line is more than what the recipe might be calling for,
I was
unless it
gonna
says a
say
rounded
you look at
spoonful.
my mom's and my grandmother's recipes, and they were like, a pinch of that and a dash of this.
That's still a definable measurement. If you were to take that pinch and then put it, on a scale or something,
It would be approximately
because
so
I
many
mean,
ounces. Yeah.
think of the like musicians and sculptors and painters and things like that have such fine tuning in their hands, that they can differentiate between, or like reading braille. That blows my mind.
Oh
That's
yeah.
like, think about it. That's a heightened sense where you can feel the difference between two bumps and a dash, and two dashes and a bump. You know what I mean? It's
I'm,
like,
I'm
if
still
you
I'm still trying to figure out why they put braille on the ATM machines out at the drive-through
I was
ATM
thinking the same
machines.
thing, but I know why, because people need to use their ATM card and get, just because they're blind doesn't mean they're completely, wheelchair
Well,
bound and helpless.
yeah, but I'm talking in the ones that are the drive-through ones, not the not the walk-up ones.
You know why? Because sometimes I do
Because they're
that,
the
because, like,
same machine. They're the same machines. That's why.
well, not just that, but like when we go and I have to go through the drive-through, I'll get in the back seat and have my wife pull up, because she doesn't know my info. She's never going to know my info because I'm not stupid.
Yeah,
Um, and I'll have her pull up, and I'll do the thing. Well, a blind person could have somebody drive them to the ATM and say, "Hey, I need to get some money out so I can pay you or whatever."
yeah,
So that would be the maybe
maybe.
your answer is
Yeah.
probably more accurate. And
It's,
Eldrad,
it's I used to fix machine. I used to fix ATMs.
okay, so you have way more inside baseball on that.
I've been inside the booth. Yeah, I had keys to all the banks in Central Florida, and God, that was the most terrifying 3 months of my time when I worked for NCR. Oh my God.
I can imagine. Hey,
Cause you,
Eldrad, hold on. I've had this up for like 20 minutes. Eldrad, you can. There are lots of places out there between 3D printing and other companies out there. If you want to make action figures, you can. Whether you want to make them for yourself, your own collections, or whatever, or go into business. Just look around, dude. I see that shit all the time. I just saw something the other day, for custom miniatures. Like DM James has those 3D prints of himself. Well, it's just the next step up.
yeah. I wish I could find more of these. When did these come out? What year was this? Mm, this is not that old, but this is cool. Let me see. It's talking about action figures and stuff. Oh, let me see
Exnard, you're
here.
you're not wrong. I used to get my books at either the game shop I worked at, because I started working there at 14, and or a place called Gemco. Oh man, I miss Gemco. I can
I
still
never,
taste their snack bar burgers. One of the best burgers I've ever had in my life was the Gemco snack bar burger. And I've talked to people, who lived, in other states that remember that. It was very, very close to a Bob's Big Boy burger. Those of you guys who remember that, you can kind of imagine what it was like. But yeah, it was being able to get and play back in the early 80s when I was dungeon mastering at the Unicorn's Lair. It was this game shop where there was a comic book store on one side, and games, and then the other side, and they were both two separate like storefronts. It was just an empty hall with arcade machines, vending machines, and about six ping pong tables that were converted into game tables with dry erase things. And this was like 1980, 1981, and you had to buy tickets, and you'd give the tickets to the DM per hour to play. Um,
they charge
so
money for that?
yeah, it was a
Who
dollar
the heck?
75. dude,
What?
dude. It was $1.75 an hour. I got paid in
Wow.
merchandise to be a dungeon master, you know, and I would have my table full 5 days out of the week, maybe even on the weekends, or at least 5 days of the week. I had a table full of people of every age, and there'd always be like two or three other dungeon masters pissed off at me because no one wanted to play at their tables.
It just blows my mind. I mean, to hear like, okay, paid paid dungeon masters, okay, whatever. I get it if you're doing corporate events and stuff, but I
No, this
personally
was
wouldn't. I wouldn't pay a DM to run, and I certainly wouldn't pay for a table at a game
we
store.
all you did. The GM didn't pay for anything. The players would go over to the comic book store, buy a couple of tickets. Usually, what it was, honestly, was moms having me babysit their kids. Okay, but
Oh
but
yeah, I was a scout leader.
okay,
I was a Cub Scout
at
leader.
least
That's
at
what that
least two
was.
at least 2 out of 6 players, at least 1 in 3, was a grown up or an older teenager who just wanted to play. And I had military guys, I had college guys, I had a college professor, I had a doctor, a lawyer, I had all kinds of people. I was 14, okay, um, dungeon mastering for people 2, 3, 4 times my age, because I absorbed it, figured it out.
Yeah.
That's why it pisses me off so much when people bitch and whine about the Dungeon Master's Guide wasn't great. No, it was. People got lazy and demand and need. I reveled in the fact that it was like this spell book, this ancient tome, even though it was just printed, that was obscure and wonky, and it had its own nuances that you couldn't find elsewhere. It wasn't
Right.
overproduced. It wasn't, more of the look than the content. Okay, it was the first of its kind. So yeah, there were all kinds of mistakes, but that's what made it's so great to me, is that
Oh,
you
sure.
had to know it. You had to know what was in it. The fact that the the damn near the whole monster manual was in it. Okay, all the information, all the stat blocks were in it, at the back. And if you didn't bring your monster manual for whatever reason, you could still run the monsters, because it's like, okay, gargoyle. I mean, I don't need the flavor text of the gargoyle to know what a gargoyle is, right? But it had all the stats, all the dinosaurs, all the dragons, all the demons, all that crap, in just one line, in the DMG. And knowing that, knowing how to use that. What's up, Vic? Made it, the essential book. I mean, I didn't even sometimes bring a player's handbook because I knew other people would. If my backpack was getting heavy with school books, I could just throw in the DMG, and I was good. Now I don't even ask my players. I don't have books out. I have to go turn around and get a book if I need a specific piece of minute information. I don't have to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought a special bag that I would keep all my books in to take out to my players. Of course, that was fifth edition, and it was ridiculous how many books you needed for certain stuff by the
Yeah, yeah,
time
you
a
don't need them.
player had gone.
See, one of the other great learning experiences for me was playing Amber the Dice's role playing game. I learned that I didn't need anything but this to game master a game. Sure, if you had notes and stuff like that, but the number one skill you need is improvisation,
Yep.
which has nothing to do with needing a book. I mean, what's up? What's up, Bloodworth? How you
That's
doing?
Hey,
that's the nice thing about hey Rich, how
hey,
you
how's it going?
doing?
I'm using Shadow's live stream here as a test of how long I
Okay,
can talk without going
so
into a
we're guinea
talking fit.
pigs, right?
Yeah,
We're
you are
guinea
guinea pigs. You and your crew here, your reprobates are guinea pigs for my voice check.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, you sound
Always
good.
happy to help out a friend.
You're less hoarse than you were
Oh yeah, yeah.
last the other
During
day.
that thing, well, that was like right afterwards.
Yeah,
So my throat was still because they had me intubated. I
intubated,
think that's what they call that.
intubated. Yeah,
Intubated.
intubated.
Yeah. So that was that, and then that must have caused some like abrasion when they were pulling it back out again.
Yeah.
And so I just had that kind of feeling. Then I get the post nasal drip. It was almost like CrudCon, It was like
Yeah.
con crud. I mean, it was like I
Uh-huh.
came home. I mean, it was 5 days in a hospital, so you're not gonna come out of the hospital after 5 days without anything.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah. You just a good thing it wasn't MRSA, man.
yeah,
That's the scary stuff.
yeah. No, it
Mhm.
was nothing. It's nothing scary. It was just that I was on the phone with Eric Tankar the other day. I gave him a call. I was running an idea past him, and I'll run it past you guys too. But I ran it past him, and I could not talk for more than 3 minutes straight. I was like, all of a sudden, that it just started kicking in. So that's that post nasal drip. Just
Mm.
Yeah.
so I'm taking a whole bunch of shit for that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that clears up.
That's one
Zyrtec.
thing I realized about living up here in the high desert. Having any sort of allergy, runny nose symptoms, it's so hot and dry up here. Your body can't even create the snot that it wants to, and I am grateful for that.
The
I
Yeah.
used to
When I lived
do.
in Vegas, um, I was fine all year except for like 1 week in October.
Yep.
For some reason, there's something in
The,
October.
the moisture or the Halloween
Yeah.
weirdos. Did you go to any of the Halloween stores with the fog machines?
No, I was going to the casinos, man.
Because I used to work in a party city, and every year, right after the Halloween
Yeah.
season, the because I was in charge of a bunch of things, and fog machine was one of them, and that shit is toxic. Don't do it. Don't get those machines. Don't do that. Real quick, cold iron. Uh, that's horrific, dude. The closing down of Toys R Us's was a crime against humanity. I literally mean that in every sense of the
It's a
word.
crime
Our
against my
children,
childhood.
all children need to use their hands to learn how to manipulate things. The better they can, the better they are, the more skilled they can become. If you take away their ability to play with actual physical toys, you make them so much more incompetent. Do you want a surgeon working on you that never had toys growing up to play with? I certainly don't. I want that doctor to have the best hand-eye coordination, not just this coordination. When he goes to work on my knee or my back, or God forbid something even more important. Um,
I don't know. I'm scared to death by the time I'm old enough to retire. Some of these doctors that are going to be out there are going to have cheated their way through medical school and taken their exams with AI. That's my biggest fear about getting old.
well,
I mean,
um,
did you hear about that professor that did a test and he put in the instructions for this thing something that would trigger AI to put a particular response in that was completely nonsense. And out of like out of all the students, I think 90% of them all used AI. 9 out of 10 of them used AI for a test or for not for a test but for for something. And it was like and it literally they were just copy pasting. They weren't actually writing anything. It was Chat GPT or one of
hmm,
the other ones doing everything. And he just like literally they were all cheating except for like one of them successfully argued that he did not. He thought that was he thought it was like a one of those traps that professors will sometimes put in an
okay.
exam, because it was like some obscure thing that didn't make any sense, but referencing something relevant, and he thought it was a trap to see if you were paying attention. That type of thing. You've probably seen those tests where it says, okay, do this, do this, do this, and like the last thing is don't answer any questions on the second, the back side of the page or whatever.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, something basically like that, but instead it was, that's what his point was he thought it was like that, so he successfully argued that no, he actually did do it, and he just thought it was a test to see if he was paying attention. But everybody else was like, "Yep, I you caught me." It's like, holy cow.
Well, I know for a fact there are
Hey,
people
Aldred,
out
how's
there
it going? Sorry,
that you guys know a dungeon or module that like Dean asks where you explore an ancient library. I want to say Teagle Manor, but it's not probably what you're looking for, and not it's
An
definitely. I mean,
ancient
you might be able to find it cheap, but not free.
I mean, in the Forgotten Realms, there's
I was just gonna say that. Holy shit! The first
there's
the first dungeon you go into, there's a library before you go down into the dungeon. I was literally just going to say that. In Whitehall.
yeah.
And you can get all of those things online. Maps of every location in Skyrim, and they have it all laid out. You have like freaking VTT maps at your disposal. And then if you have the game, you can go into the game and you can take screenshots, and you can cut and paste your own screenshots. They become uh, they become your product.
What's the name? There's like a whole city in the Forgotten Realms on the Sword Coast that actually is like its big thing is this ginormous library that's got hidden rooms and stuff like that in it.
Yeah, I've
It's
never gone
basic
to that one. I forget which one is that. I don't know if that's the capital. Um,
No,
oh,
and in order to check something out, I think you have to have
Yes, we
something that
are.
they don't have in their library in order to be able to, get
Sorry,
access to
guys,
the
trying to
library
catch
or
up.
something like that.
yeah, no
Yes, we're
problem.
all on a journey. I highly recommend Gauntlet 2, the one for PS4, I think it is. A lot of fun, especially multiplayer. Thief in the Dark Project and Thief the Metal Age still are fantastic. Uh, Vic did something. What? Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get
No, that's
my my, my
it's your
touch
stream,
screen
dude.
doesn't like to be touched. Uh, I wrote that one that was set in the Sea of Dust based on a painting by Charles Ubach. What's up, Steven? The master. Kids don't read anymore. I know, right? Oh my God. RPGs will be obsolete at the next Gen Con or two max.
No, only if you not
Hey,
old school conventions.
nope. That's what I'm planning on putting on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did fail him on purpose. The
I'm
notes
gonna get
out.
I'm gonna get Rich to come down here to Tennessee and hang out with me at
and
my
that's not
con.
going to happen. I'm sorry. There's no travel left in me. It's
When when
four
when they
hours.
when they
Four hours each
when they
way is
start,
is about it,
when
and
they
that's not a
started
1 day con.
when they stopped holding kids back in school was the beginning of the ultimate downfall of Western civilization. Um,
Mm.
if you're just going to pass them along, then you just become daycare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to succeed or fail based on specific, facts that they need to be able to understand, absorb, and you know, use throughout their life. Other than that, what's the freaking point? I'm always reminded of the fact that in Soylent Green, Charlton Heston's character could not read. He was a police detective. He couldn't read in the future. Mind you, that future is now our past, but I digress. Can you imagine that, being a police officer and not being able to read?
Let's see. That's
Yeah, I don't know. That's a different time period, I guess.
Well, it was a perceived notion of what the future would be like, um, and the bad guys out there, they're trying to ruin the world. They use those movies as blueprints. So
well. I mean, it's just they're trying to return to medieval form, to
I can only
serfdoms and stuff
leer.
like that. What did Cal say?
He says, I can only leer.
No. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
the
to the
leering, the
leering
leering
centers.
centers.
Yeah.
Well, they want to, and like my son and his friends, they came over to help him world build for not even a game. Well, I mean, sometimes it's a game, but mostly it's a series of videos that he's working on. And it, he only hangs out with clearly, some of the smartest kids he can surround himself with. Um, but by and large, there's so many. I can't tell you how many videos I've seen of grown ass adults, unable to read or with difficulties. I could read Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart when I graduated kindergarten in what, in '72. I came home from school. My dad says, "Oh, so you're a big graduate, blah blah blah. Here, read this." Hands me the Telltale Heart. I read it. I'm like, okay, and then he quizzes me on it and blah blah blah. And since that year, I'm bumping into dumber and dumber people. Not the guys here on the internet, but out in the real world, um, they're just zombies out there.
Yeah, there's. I ran into this like this is years ago. I saw this woman. She's a worker in CVS, and I walk up to her and I ask her, where I could find something, and she slowly turned around and was like, "Huh," and just the look on her face and the look, I was like, it was like The Walking Dead. I was like, hold up, never mind, I'll find it elsewhere. And she literally moved in slow motion to do everything. And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, that was the first time I've ever come across somebody that was like, the skinwalker kind of thing. It was like that's or a Walking Dead kind of individual, just nothing going on in those eyes. Those eyes were dead eyes.
What's launching in 3 minutes?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah, can't Candlekeep, and if you're gonna do something, look up Candlekeep. You probably want to pull
You, you know, you
material
know,
from second edition for that because that's probably going to be
it,
the most voluminous.
it's very rare that I buy something that's like hot off the presses, because 9 times out of 10 I can find it years from now for half the price or less. I'm
Yeah,
actually focusing more on. I just picked up something that I didn't even know existed for one of the old games that I like a lot. I didn't know existed. I've only seen one in my lifetime. Anything you guys can talk about, no matter how new and hyped it is and how awesome it is, 2 years from now, I'll be able to go on eBay and find it because somebody got it, didn't like it, or overextended themselves, and they need to make some money because it's summertime and it'll be up on eBay at a discount. I I, I bought the Solomon Kane, the whole Kickstarter, or the whole line, the box miniatures, the RPG for less than $100 because it was 50% off. Everything new goes on discount. Old stuff only gets more expensive.
Angry Dwarf Games. Now I gotta look it up. I gotta look up.
In 1981 through 87, I lived in Portland, Oregon, near Clackamas Town Center, the famous ice rink where Tanya Harding learned to skate, and there was a shop called End Games.
Oh, look
Okay.
at that! Look at that! He does have a Kickstarter that's launching soon. He hasn't hit the go button yet.
It'll probably
Shellback says he
automate
pays.
in 1 minute.
Shellback
It's
says he
almost
pays
one
20
o'clock
bucks a
here.
session to be in a campaign, and he's been in the campaign for 5 years now. Um, that sounds like a nice side hustle. You get 5 players at 20 bucks a player, $100 to sit around and play D&D for 5, 6, 8 hours. Yeah, sign me up for that. You guys need a new GM? You want to pay me 20 bucks a session? Let me know, man. That sounds like too easy.
The only way I would pay somebody to be a GM is as part of like a one of those charity events that they have at conventions, right?
Okay.
And your GM is a true celebrity GM. Like so Frank Metzner, his events at page one, two, three All of those were charity events, and so you paid an extra ticket cost of like $4 to play at his table. So if Frank Metzner is only paying, asking for $4 to play at his table, I pay some Joe Schmo $20 an hour to play at his or her. Not happening. Yeah, you have to be some
Okay.
kind of you have to be one hell of a recognizable figure for me. Even
Hey,
these like modern people, it's like I don't care that you have 120,000 people on your YouTube channel. That's not going to make me pay you $10 an hour to play in your
did
game.
you see? Did you see Joe the lawyer's "No Such Thing as a Dungeon Master"? We're all journeyman video.
Uh,
I didn't watch it yet. No, I was.
he changed the name of his channel now too. Did you see that?
No.
It's no longer Analog Man Cave.
Oh, what's it now?
Uh Hold on, I wanna be one of the first ones to get in on this Kickstarter. Here it is.
Well, come back to it. I totally disagree with 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 the clickbait title part. The premise behind it, yeah, we should always be learning, but to take away the title sounds like
Oh,
some woke
because yeah,
bullshit.
you're never reaching mastery.
Bullshit. It's absolute utter bullshit. That sounds like something designed to remove the word master from the lexicon because it's equated too much with slavery. Bullshit. You have to
It's
have a
a
word that shows you're at the top. And if
Yeah.
there
No,
is no,
they initially initially what they wanted to do was you know the blue hairs wanted to remove it because it's a gendered word.
Don't no, no.
yeah,
You're supposed to
I'm
be getting
sorry, but
better, man.
if
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm starting to
I
hit
totally
the
get the getting
starting to
better
hit the
part.
limit. You see, it's like crazy.
I totally get the idea of always improving, but if I had earned the title doctor, you damn well better believe you'd all be calling me Doctor Shadow. I didn't do that. I went and did some other shit. But if there's a title beyond, the average or at the top of your game, I mean, are you going to go up to like Frank Metzer and go, yeah, you don't stop calling yourself a dungeon master? No, they earned that shit. And after 120,000 plus hours of doing this silly game, I'm gonna enjoy the fact that we get such a title, as dungeon master, because it scares the straights so much. When you call
Mm.
yourself a dungeon master, the people that recoil, like is awesome. That alone is worth keeping the title around. You know what I mean?
I use whatever title for who's running the game based on the
Hmm.
game system itself. So if when I'm running D&D
Sure.
BX, I'm a dungeon master. When I'm
Hmm.
running Castles and Crusades, I'm a castle keeper. When I'm running if I'm running Call
Nice.
of Cthulhu, I'm a keeper. Or a
That,
referee. In
that's
some
that
cases, they
that's
are.
I like that too. I like that too. But I also have this fond memory of this girl I was dating. And one day she worked at a lingerie store, just saying. And she came home and she gave me a little gift. This is bracelet, said master on it. And I'm like, that's right, baby. Still have it, but I got it, in one of those boxes the wife don't go in. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're playing, Traveler or whatever, but just calling myself like a referee or something generic like that, just, I mean, everybody hates the referee at any sporting event, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to say, if you were a referee professionally, you'd probably never tell anybody but your closest friends. You know what I mean? Because you just get shit for whatever, perceived bad call back in 1972 some guy made. It's somehow your fault. AI is incredible. Is incredible. until it goes schizophrenic. One of my friends is trying to edit our game without hope, and the AI has totally slaughtered the edit that he thought he was doing so well on. Yeah, you got to be very specific, and you gotta double check their work. So might as well do the damn work yourself. AI made up rules that didn't exist in the game. I was pretty ticked off because I said, "Hey, dudes, this is not even our game." Yeah, Teagle Manor. Yeah, is a huge, weird module. One of the original giant classic mega dungeons that just so happen to be mostly above ground. I've got the original and the Goodman Games version. One of these days, I will run it. It's definitely on my bucket list of game of modules to like fix because it's basically white box D&D, but how hard is it to update it? You guys ever play in Teagle Manor?
No,
Mm-mm.
You guys heard of it?
no,
Judges Guild?
no.
I've got I went in and I got the the couple of things that I'm still waiting on the city state of the invincible overlord from
I
Judges
just got
Guild.
I'm
that
gonna
as
have to
well.
mute for a second. My secretary's calling me.
Oh,
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I got the city state, but from somebody who put it out years later, and I haven't even opened it and checked it out. But I got this Goodman Games giant freaking Atlas freaking plinth of a book. It's like a monolith. You know what I'm talking about? Those big hardcover books Goodman Games put out, and in it uh, it's got Teagle Manor with some of the behind the scenes maps and the whole history of Goodman Game, not Goodman Games, Judges Guild back in the day when they were the first, people making secondary market items for D&D, um, and it's fucking amazing. I'll show it off later. It's a big giant book. I got mine for $69, but when it came out, it was 100 and worth every freaking penny. It's so big that I mean it's quite literally almost 2 feet tall and over a foot wide and at least an inch thick. So finding a bookshelf for it is I don't have one. I mean, I could make one, but it would be just for that book. So instead, I got to keep it in the factory box that it came in because it's specially designed to hold it and pad it.
right.
It's really quite the piece of work. Right, right. Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I like Joe. He seems like a decent guy. He seems like a fun guy. But there's, I know we wouldn't
So
agree on
so the
certain things.
lawyer, yeah, he's going down the 5e rabbit hole trying to fix 5e instead of just going
Telling him
off
to
a
fuck off,
shadow dark.
like we all
Yeah,
should. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because if you want one thing, you go one way. If you want, um, another thing, you go the other way. And it was you guys know since the beginning. It's like I got no time for some of these bigger things because they're catering to the lowest common denominator, and I've
yes,
never been that guy.
yeah.
Um, you know, uh,
I don't know. I sent you a message in the private chat.
yeah, I'm not seeing Edgelord
He DM'd me on
comments.
Discord asking if yeah, he said he got a new computer. It's pissing him
Are
off.
you, are you subscribed? I mean, I know you're subscribed, but there's nothing, and you're not on my blocked or banned list. 3 minutes to launch of what? Oh, your grimoire, dude. Send me
Here, I'll
a
send you a
freaking
link to
link.
it. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, send it in private. The Walking
'Cause
Dead
I,
or Not
I already
Dead.
backed it. I was the first backer.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. I won't be the
I'm like,
first, but uh, are you going to do the mailing out? Because I expect an autograph. If so, Angry Dwarf ripping off PDM's Angry Dwarf.
Let me see how many he's got now.
Yeah, I don't watch Professor Dungeon Master. I watched him in the beginning when I just learned that there were, dungeon tubers before we kind of had a channel, or right after, and I instantly realized, if you've been playing the same game for 10 years and your player characters are like 6th level, we can't be friends.
He what is that too fast advancement for you?
That's not advancement.
I
That's
know,
that.
I
I
know,
don't
I
know
know
what
people.
that is.
I know people who've been playing for 20 years, and their characters, their players are characters are only up to 10th level. What are you talking about?
Well, well, understand that I'm used to playing minimum once a week, but back in the day, I played every day, literally
Well,
every day. So
well, I
no,
can't
no, I
play
mean
every
in
day.
college, and in college, even in my 30s after I retired, I'd be on the phone with my players and we'd play, stuff, and there were times I'd be like, all right, you get, X, you know, blank, fill in the blank XP from the phone call, okay? Because I don't believe that you can only earn XP at the table when other people are around to watch.
Yeah,
If me and a player have a one-on-one, some of my players have earned XP while we were, body surfing and surfing off the coast of PCH, or in the car driving to such and such location. Um, you know, and if I was in a game, even if it was once a week, and I played for a year, that's 52 sessions. If I wasn't seeing a certain kind of uh, progress, I'm out. I
you
could do.
you
I
you
could.
you
There's so
you
many
you
things.
you need that. You need that gratification, huh? You
No, I
need to.
need to know that I'm accomplishing something, and
Yeah,
the way you definitively prove beyond the shadow of a doubt is that you're gaining whatever points or system it is of advancement to prove it. Uh, because let's face it, I can literally go and take a brand new video game, like an app game, even, right, and get way more gratification, satisfaction, enjoyment from even some of the dumbest app games out there. Because I look at it, when you're playing those games, you're playing against multiple dungeon masters at once. Some of those games have a team of people that work to get all that shit in line so that you can go through it. Sometimes it still sucks, okay, but sometimes when it's really good and you're having fun, uh, that's why the hobby, has an eternal mortal enemy, and that's video games, because they can do it better, and you know, uh, and reach a wider audience, and eventually, guys like us will be obsolete, and there'll be no point of what we're doing. Hopefully, it'll be long after we're gone, but it is inevitable unless we get a worldwide blackout,
we're
in which
we
case
got it.
we'll
We got
become the
it.
most
We
popular kids in town.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what happened a couple of years ago, right? So, you know, and of
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
maybe 5% is probably going to be the retention level. Is that's my guess.
mhm.
5% of them, and of that, I don't know what percent we actually really want to stick around the hobby, but you know, maybe 1 or 2%. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
I sometimes I'm like, I kind of wish for a blackout, except for the refrigerator situation, just so the family and other families would have, you know, uh, would realize what they're throwing away by constantly being in front of a screen, and not being, a family or friends or whatever. Um,
we would all have very high sodium diets again, like our
maybe,
forefathers, because
maybe.
that's the only way to keep certain things is by salting it, without
Oh, it's called
refrigeration.
Joe the Lawyer's Old School Wisdom Hour Modern DMs. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. He's chasing after the 5e guys, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Me, I'm trying to bring him over to the light side. You know,
um,
get him off the dark side and bring him over to the light.
they're with what they said about us, you know what I
In the
mean, and
past,
about
yeah.
Gary. We can't get out of the hobby fast enough. And
Now,
you're just gonna let that
granted,
slide.
that guy is gone, and several other
But
people. I mean, like
but they
three
never
days.
retracted it. They never
Right.
retracted and said, "We're sorry, that guy was an asshat. Why we kept him on the payroll is beyond us." No, what they said is, "We think you're too stupid and weak and lazy and addicted to our product. So whatever we say we can do, and you're just gonna suck it up because you guys are bitches.
Well,
Fuck you."
my big problem is as long as Justice DeArmond is there and Mackenzie is still there, as long as those Justice and Mackenzie are still there, there's
Nice.
they still don't have any creative talent in WotC. Everybody that had talent left. Even the people that are completely opposite side of the spectrum from me, I still had some modicum of respect for their abilities. But the people that are there now have no talent. They are completely void of talent.
What's up, Bubba? You're still a dungeon master. You've put in the time. Are we going to stop calling doctors doctors because it's elitist? You know,
Yeah,
no. There's a word for everything, and redefining and redesigning the language to not upset weak spined individuals. I want no part of it. Um, it reminds me of appreciating the fact that I'm getting older, so that soon I won't be here anymore. So I won't have to put up with human garbage that is just proliferating this planet. It's horrific the things I see and what I've seen uh, in my lifetime. The changes toward embracing the weak, and it's okay to be weak, to the point where the diagram is going to be where we're in the part of the equation where it's good to be weak. Now it's mandatory to be weak.
yeah,
I mean, that's literally. I mean, if you can't see that, that's what the powers that be want of us, their chattel human slaves. You have no concept of anything, the way anything really works.
yeah.
I I
I
I I, I am so worried uh, what my kid and grandkids are going to have to go through um, if things don't take a drastic turnaround. Yeah, Bubba, Judges Guild made some good stuff, but they also made some really crap shit. The Dark Tower, yeah, no, I don't want. I wish I don't own that book, but it's part of another book, so it's going to end up. I'm slowly developing a stack of books that I'm going to burn before I die. And I know you can't burn books, blah blah blah. No, I can, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't want anybody infected by the poison contained therein. And my part will be to eliminate that. At least those, I can't get them all, but those things will never hurt another person again, nor will they weaken somebody and fill them with horrible ideas.
yeah. I dropped that link by the way in the private chat.
Okay.
I
Let me
said
see if I can hit it without. If I disappear, I'll be right back. Am I here? Am I still
yes, you're
here?
still here. It's Restream, not StreamYard. StreamYard does
uh,
that crap where if you change to a different browser window, you disappear. I hate
Fuck
that. That's why I
StreamYard.
Hey
didn't.
guys, I'm back.
Okay, cool.
Hey,
Uh,
Rich, Edgelord said he wanted to let you know he's having problems posting in the chat, but he wanted to wish you well.
Oh, thank you
So
very much. Yeah, I can't post in this chat. I don't know why. It's like from this interface, I can't post because I'm not.
no, no, and he's
Yeah.
even like he can't even chat he's trying to chat in the YouTube chat.
Oh, because this is
That's
in
weird.
YouTube, or
Yeah,
StreamYard, the only person that can chat in StreamYard
is the person that is
Shadow.
it's-
Yeah.
yeah. Nobody's
is
blocked, so
yeah,
it's got to
but
be a him.
Shadow, you don't have your restream set up where people can piggyback off of the stream and stream to
No,
their own, because then we'd be able to do that. But that's fine.
yeah, I
Um,
need to figure out how to do that, and I just haven't done so yet.
you have to look at it.
I
There's
passed
usually
on
a
owning that.
toggle up on top, but there's a thing on top. It's like almost like a permissions.
Yeah.
Let others sign on, like sign in as co-hosts or something like that.
Yeah. We do that like on the Monday stream when we're doing the Hyperborea stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When's the next? When's the next? What's today's date? What's today?
It's
Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Friday.
Oh, what are you guys doing tonight?
I don't know. I haven't heard from Dan, so I don't know
Um.
Yeah,
what's
I'm not
going
sure what
on.
I'm doing other than making burgers. I've got an appointment with a solar panel company to get battery backup
Yeah.
installed.
Yeah, I had my
Yeah. I got
power
to
went
do it.
out for like 5 hours the other day.
Nice, Vic.
Mm,
Storm come up, and I had to put my radio on battery backup so I could report everything to the National Weather Service.
No,
nice.
Shellback. That was when you were too poor to be able to afford a surfboard or a boogie board, and you
Mhm.
yourself made yourself stiff enough and just rode the waves in as if you were a human surfboard.
Yep. Thank you,
I
Stephen.
wish I wish it was because I had this girlfriend back in the day. Oh boy, the video
Yeah.
game comparison
I'm
that I did
thinking I
not.
might be able to do a. I'm going to do a box opening. Actually, um, Shadow, you might be interested in this too. I'm doing a box opening maybe on the weekend. Maybe I'll be able to do it on the weekend, and I'll live stream it because I was going to do it Monday night, which I might still do it Monday night. Do you game on Monday night, Shadow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do? I might
With
switch
Bubba.
that one to anyway. I might switch that to my regular slot. Do you game on Sunday night, Shadow?
Hmm?
Do you game on Sunday night? Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
he games a lot. He
yeah,
games because
I
because I
do
Sunday,
keep
too,
I
actually, but
I keep trying to get him onto the Babylon 5 show that I'm on, and he's always tied up. And
I got a game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've got
Well,
a Sunday, a
listen,
Monday, a Tuesday, and now a Wednesday game coming up.
on August 16th, I'm going to have the guys from Emperor's Choice on.
Okay, I'll be in the audience at least,
Yeah. You can come on
depending on the
in.
day.
It's
look,
Sunday. It's Sunday, 7 o'clock.
I have I have I have a whole bunch of stuff, and this I cannot open until
No, you cannot. Do not.
I'm not allowed to open this until
Yep.
Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was specifically told
Yep.
because you see who it's from.
I know who it's
This
from. It's
Sunday?
from
This
Yeah.
Sunday, yep, they're
Yeah.
coming on my show this Sunday.
Yeah.
I've got
They're the best.
I've got Dave and
Wait till you
George.
see all the new shit they got
Yeah.
on their site now, as well as their swag store, for T-shirts and that sort of thing. But the new paints and minis and dice and just so much stuff. It blew my mind. I was at their shop before Dave
Paints,
started.
the paints. They got paints now.
I'm getting the whole line, all 300 plus
Are you
paints
really?
delivered. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
I'd love
So,
to
but
try their paints. I want to hear how they work because
me too. Well, I got to test them out. I mean, then someone's got to test them out, and I don't trust anybody but me. Other people's opinions. Uh, I,
Ducato is I think gonna be he's gonna be trying some of them out too. If you know Ducato,
oh yeah,
Stan,
yeah, yeah.
he
yeah,
lives up there, not too far from
No, not yet, not
he's in
yet,
Maine.
Bubba.
from those guys. So
Yeah.
so
I'm going to actually Takata was connected to my box opening because I'm getting, so I got the Monolith board game Conan Red Nails, because I ran
Okay.
Red Nails, as a
Uh-huh.
Hyperborea third edition, and then they were like, "Oh, there's this set. It was like $90 for this thing."
Yeah,
The
I
figures
saw it
in
when I
it
got
are
the.
unbelievable. Especially like the dragon is insane. So then I reached out to Takado and I was like, listen, if I bring this to ShireCon, I'm going to give you some figures for you to paint. So they won't be in time for obviously ShireCon because that's when he's going to get them. And
Mhm.
then, but he should have them ready,
I didn't know there
by
was
the,
a dragon in Red Nails.
well, they call it's not a dragon. It's not the Dungeons and Dragons dragon.
Was it like
It's
a
a
wyvern or?
Hyborian age dragon, which is
Oh,
basically
Take care, Dean.
um it's basically like a stegosaurus with teeth,
Oh, you mean the thing? You mean the thing before they go into the castle?
yeah, the thing that they're attacked in
Okay,
the
okay,
the
okay.
jungle.
Where he and Valeria
Yeah.
are hiding in the tree or
Yeah,
whatever.
actually the crawler is actually, which is still pretty cool looking monster, but it's not as scary looking as the
Take
dragon.
care, Shipwreck.
You know what I'm saying? It's not as scary looking as the dragon.
Hmm.
But so I'm going to give him either the whole set, and I'll see how much it would be for him to to knock out the whole set, or I'll give him just like the really standout things on there, from the red nails pole to the dragon, the crawler, and I have to look to see which one is like the red mask, but then the Conan and the Valeria, I want him to do those as well.
Nice. Coochie, here's the thing. It's a step along the way when it comes to modules. We all have run them, read them, or played in them,
stole
and will
things from
continue to
them.
do so. And stole things from them. Absolutely.
Yep.
I just did a review on 3 modules this morning, or 3 adventures in one big module, and they were great. They were some of the best written D&D stuff I've seen in the way of here's an adventure you can run your players through,
Mm.
because you need to learn how to do it, and it's like riding a bike with training wheels. That's what modules are in the beginning. They teach you how to do it, and then when you've done it enough by a book or by a module format, eventually you're like, yeah, I want to do this by myself. It's like when my boy, the first time he wanted to ride his bike without training wheels. He wants to do it on his own. He wants to know he can do it on his own. And eventually, you know, uh, I haven't run a module except this one that I do just out of sort of a tradition kind of thing. Every Halloween, I run Caliban from Arduin. Other than that, I just make it up half the time, if not more. Ask Cal. I'm making shit up on the fly. I don't plan uh, hardly anything for my regular group because either we already know what we're doing or we have no idea what we're doing, in which case I'll figure it out. How much planning do
So,
you guys do?
how much planning?
Yeah,
Ah,
for an
it depends.
You see, it depends on how much feedback you guys give me. Like,
Hmm.
so
uh-huh,
you're watching my Discord, right? You're watching the
uh-huh,
Discord
yeah,
for this Tuesday night's game. So I'm already kind of hammering out like where you guys are going to go next, and then when you guys arrive, um, I'm very fluid. I can just switch it up really fast and just
improvise.
go with, well, yeah, I can
Yeah,
improvise
improv.
right off the top. That's a teaching skill. So
Mhm.
being a teacher for 26 and a half years definitely allowed me, because I used to have to change up lessons if I saw, hey, these guys are not really getting this. How am I going to present this information now in the moment, and and go in a different direction with it, or explain it a different way or whatnot.
Well,
And
and some
so,
some some players just like kids. They some people learn differently. Some are tactile, some are visual, some are oral. It all depends on their learning styles, and sometimes you have to explain it different ways so that they
right,
yeah.
so just like in my thing, the party now is it was their very first combat, and so one of their party members fell, dead,
Yep.
and they're like, oh, we have to, what could we have done differently, so I was like, you could
This
have
is
heard my
very
hints. You
topical.
could have heard my hints beforehand, right? It's like, if you know you're facing were creatures, and I'm by no means mocking them or anything. I'm just saying, just saying, uh, not one of them had silver weapons to go in, and Castles and Crusades deals with a little bit differently. So now I said, now that they had the learning experience of having one of the player characters die in the very first combat that they had, and the paladin almost died too. He was 1 point away from dying as well. So now since I've been laid up for 2 weeks, I've been telling them, listen, tell me what your characters are doing over the next 2 game days. One was arranging the funeral. I'm going to get some more details, from the 2 clerics in the group.
Mhm.
So one is arranging the funeral for the other player character, and then the others are saying, "Hey, I'm getting some silvered weapons," or, we know we're facing. I just gave them a little mention today, like a kind of a summary of what I already know they know. All right. So they know that there was a bank heist. They know that only the silver vault was attacked. They know that the silver wasn't removed, it was destroyed. By a rust monster. All right. They know that the only way that anybody could have gotten in there was from possibly a druidic spell. All right. That is, what is it called? Change change stone or wood. All right. They know, if they look, they know that that's a third level druid spell. All right.
Mhm.
They know that they fought, were rats. So, and some of them actually, it might have even been Shadow that actually mentioned it. He was like, it would make sense that rare rats would want to destroy silver in the bank, or somebody said it. That makes more
Mhm.
sense, right? It was like,
It's like, Superman wanting to destroy kryptonite.
right. Yeah. It's essentially what they kind of, possible
Right.
motives that they have in it.
And anybody who's played with you before, like me and Lee and Mirador, we know about you and druids not being druids in the traditional AD&D sense. They could be bad guys. They could be bad
Oh
guys
yeah.
very easily.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
it only makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna go by that retarded true neutral sort of, well, I did some good, now I got to do some evil, try to balance the world. How do
well,
you know?
hey,
You're,
Robert Coombs had some pretty badass druids in Dark Druids, so
right, but see, here's the thing: true neutral is the opposite alignment of every other alignment.
yeah, I mean, I guess you could, but they don't. We're not playing AD&D either, so
Right,
very
right. No,
different
but you're using the alignment system, the 9 point alignment system, which
of
makes
Castles
it,
and Crusades.
yeah, right, which
Yeah,
makes true neutral one of the most technically insane alignments, and you can never trust them, and uh, at any minute they can view being evil as important and just and required. So them being the bad guys, okay, I guess it's that time of the month for them. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Druids are a very powerful class when they decide to put their minds to doing things. When they become convinced that, hey, this is for the greater good of the planet, kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, you better be, they're almost like environmental terrorists, basically. And that's how the Dark Druids, were really kind of, well, they blew up the whole structure that AD&D had.
Well,
They were
Cal,
like limited to 12th level. Hell no. There were more
but
16th level hierophants in that module than you could shake a stick at, or a
Right.
shillelagh to be more.
Our friend Cal here, poor Orkchild, he's running like almost a 14th level druid in my campaign on Sundays. He's a one man wrecking crew.
What is he talking about? I'm looking at. I'm looking
I don't
at
know much else about Edward almost,
XD
but
Denard Prime's
incident and some
thing.
stupid bad
So,
attire. No, it was a young Latino filmmakers award. My son had been invited to because he won one of the awards at this awards ceremony that was held in Hollywood for all the kids in California who were in filmmaking classes at various points, and we all went and got the red carpet treatment. But Edward James Olmos, while everybody else is in a suit and tie or even a tuxedo, and mind you, this is like at 12 o'clock in the afternoon in downtown L.A. or Hollywood. He's wearing a hoodie, some Converse sneakers, sweatpants, and a freaking and a face diaper. And
I
he was
did.
like he was like the big cheese, that they
I
could
have him.
get. It was just like, dude, have some self respect, man. These kids, they're looking up to you. They need to know that the biggest guy, the biggest star here gives a shit that that they won these awards. This is a big deal to them. But no, he was just, I'm too cool for that, you know. And all the other stars that I met and shook hands with and stuff, suit and tie, all dressed to the nines. For these little kids, that they're these impressionable youngsters that want to, make movies. You know, show them that you too care. That you're not just here because you got paid 50 grand to just show up and you know wave at the camera and then toddle the fuck off back to your heroin.
So,
Uh,
so let me ask you something real quick, Jeff.
Yeah.
So when you're like on your channel, what would you say your channel's focus is? Single game, multiple games, you know, different categories of gaming. Where would you place your channel out on?
Mostly, I like to have. Well, I like to do the guest thing. That's my big
Mm,
thing on my Sunday show. But I like talking to people that are OSR and OSR adjacent
mhm.
creators. And people that are doing conventions and stuff like that. That people basically people I find interesting.
All right,
Y- Cam, he likes to talk a lot about mechanics and stuff like that. He's my technical guy.
right,
When it comes to the game systems. I'm the IT guy, so I'm technical in that way. But he likes to look at the mechanics and break them apart. So and he's basically my Ed McMahon. So
right.
and so that I that's my
don't tell
focus
him
is
that.
anything. I have told him that. I'm like, dude, you're my Ed McMahon.
He might want Ed McMahon's salary.
Well, yeah. If you could do that. But yeah,
Because I'm
he's.
sure he was probably banking about 4 or 5 million a year.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, yeah,
Easily, easily banking that much money.
And that was
But
back
anyway,
then.
yeah,
yeah.
that was back then. Yeah. Um, no, the reason I have a project in mind
Hmm.
that I think is kind of a unique project. Um, and I will be reaching out to several people that want to just be on the ground floor of creating it. It's actually not going to be very intense to do because it's going to start off virtual anyway.
Yeah.
And it's not something like nothing close to organizing a con, I believe. Um, but it would probably still use tabletop events, but just in a different way. Because there will be events taking place during it.
Oh,
So it is kind of a con, but it's also primarily more something else. And like I said, I'll
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, yeah. We can talk. We
Yeah,
can talk offline.
we'll talk
You know how to get a hold of me. I
outside of
don't know
that.
if I ever gave you my number or not. I thought I did, but maybe I forgot. I was kind of
Yeah.
at the
So
con busy doing stuff. We
right,
all
right.
were. So at least I got a picture with you. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that'll be
It's one
fun.
of our
Yeah.
that's one of our things that.
And I'm glad Matt showed up, even if it was at Lord Mattias. He was able to show up
Exactly,
for a
Oh
little
exactly.
yeah,
bit
yeah,
on Sunday.
yeah. I'm looking
Um,
forward to like I said, next year when I go to CNY, I'm probably only going to run one game. I'll probably be Red Nails again, and then the rest of the time I want to play. I want to play in so many games there.
well, that was what I was doing. I wanted to experience all these different things, so I got to play Arduin for and that was. Were you in that game, or were you running something at that time? Did you get to
No,
play Arduin?
the only games that I were in, um, I will no, I played in Matt's Barrows and Borderlands. I played in Todd's Dropship,
Yeah,
and is that the only two games I played in?
That's what I
yeah,
was
But
thinking,
because
Gucci.
because
yeah, that might have been the only two games I played in, and then the other four I ran myself. So
yeah, because I played in Matt's Barrows and Borderlands. I played in Arduin, which of course we were I think the very first game because I know Eric and Rach were in that game too,
right,
along with my wife and myself, and then there was a couple other people that were there, and I think we were the very first session.
right.
And I know they did several other sessions. We had a blast, playing it.
Oh, it was a
Jeanette really,
lot of fun. It
she
I
was a
wish I could
great
have
loved the
gone.
convention.
cards. She loved the cards, which I have some cards to give away on Sunday too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm giving away a set tonight for the craft challenge, which is the speed stick speeder challenge. I
yeah.
Yeah,
was supposed to.
I have two milestones coming up on my channel, and one of them I might even hit today. But then the other one I'll probably hit sometime next week or next 2 weeks or three
What do you
weeks,
mean
let's
by
say.
milestones?
I'm gonna
Like
hit 1 million views today,
nice.
and then I should hit 5,000 by the end of this month, possibly. Certainly by September, I'll hit 5,000. I'm only 100 away, or close to 100 away from
well, I need.
5,000.
I see Coochie's comment in there, and I was going to ask about that because Bill's a buddy of mine. In fact, he jumped in on. We just did a random Saturday stream last weekend because of course everything was going on up at Gen Con, and it was kind of a Saturday night chill stream, and
Mhm.
we're not at Gen Con, so we figured we might as well stream type of stream.
Yeah.
And Bill, the Dungeon Delver, jumped on. But
Right.
he Kuchi was mentioning Guac, which he's going to be doing a physical one too,
Yeah. But I
sometime
have
next year.
yet to sit down and talk to Bill.
Well, he wrote the Teeth of the Barcash Snore back in the early days, probably 20 some odd years ago with when he was working with Gary and a couple others, but right before Gary passed away. And um, now that of course is going to be part of Castle Zagig, with the new um, the new Yigsburg setting and all that's coming out. So that's the part two. I think it's going to be a part of the part two. So, but he was on talking about that. He was showing off. He was showing off his Crom, of course. He showed off, but then he also showed off where he was with Familiar, which is his other side, because Crom is the character manager, and familiar is for creatures and encounters and all kinds of stuff. So, um, but yeah, he jumped on like I'm like, oh yeah, you want to come on, dude? Sure, we're just a chill stream. You can show your stuff off, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've never had him come on. I've although to be honest, I haven't, but I do want to reach out to him for that project again as well because he's somebody else that I think
Well,
would
he's written adventures. Like I said, he's
yeah,
Troll
no,
Lord Games
it's
is
not, I'm
publishing that.
not looking though so much for people who are, developers or creators as far
Yeah,
as publishers are concerned. Um I'm looking for people who know a lot about games and different games and that kind of things, people that can basically say, hey, this is this is something that you should all be taking a look at, kind of thing,
yeah,
so almost like reviewing, almost like what's hot out there kind of thing. So I'm looking for people that are either very well versed across in a particular topic, or have a much more broader view of overall
No,
the OSR and
that
independent.
excludes me. Uh,
No, I said there's some that could be very focused, so like, if you wanted to be
I
in
don't know
there
what's hot, what's new.
for
Everything scares
Arduin
me. Get off
or
my
something
lawn.
like that. But for the most part, I'm looking for, and then people who also have some presence, in the online sphere,
yeah.
so, having 5 subscribers, might not be the key, but you don't have to have 1,000 either.
Oh, well,
You
I'm
know what
I'm
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 saying?
over 300. I'm working my
Yeah,
way up, one sub at a
yeah. Well,
time.
like I said, there's not going to be a requirement that you have a certain amount beyond,
Yeah,
you know.
I've noticed that uh, just because your numbers are big, that doesn't mean anything to
Oh,
me.
no, 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 because
Um,
yeah.
I've watched some people out there over the years, and I'm like, oh, okay,
How
I
do they
get it.
have so many subs?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I watched that, the one I'm not going to mention by name, but
I know.
it was like
I know.
giving out DM device, and I was like, "Oh, you have like 115,000 people following you, and you're giving the most ri- ridiculous DM advice." I'm like, "Yeah, I know a hell of a lot more than you, and that's somebody that charges for you to run the games."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, that's crazy."
Well, you know, here's the thing. I always talk about the 10,000 hours, but you can have 10,000 hours of failure,
Yeah,
and,
I
and
was going to make
and
it
you are in
15 or
fact a
something.
master, but you're a master of doing things the wrong way.
No.
And there are people
Oh,
out there that think that that's okay and that's the way to go, not realizing they're doing it the wrong way because if you keep doing something and nobody stops you, you can start to think that you're doing the right thing. Or if you have nothing but sycophants and kiss ass fans that just like your personality or your looks or
Yeah.
whatever, that's really you know the unfortunate fact of what we do here online. Sometimes people succeed and fail upward.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes they buy subs too.
It's Shadow and Sun, with some numbers after it, Vic.
I'm trying to find him on your Discord. Is he on your Discord already?
Who, Vic?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I've never seen him before.
Well,
Practice doesn't make
he's
perfect. Practice.
apparently involved with DaveCon, so you know, which I've
Uh,
heard of that. So
yeah, I have
I'd
two,
like to I'd like to
and
get
I've
him
known
on to
Vic for
talk
years.
about that too.
Uh, I can't give you the link right now. You
The
can go to DM
farthest
Games.
distance convention that I would consider going to is DaveCon in 2028,
See,
because Robert Kuntz is
I'm
going.
planning on somehow going to a CNY, and that's on the other side of the country.
You should
I
come to
literally,
CNY. Yeah, yeah, especially
I
with
literally
Dave and
couldn't
George
travel
always being there.
farther for a convention, unless there's one in Europe or Paraguay or some shit.
There's never a reason to go to Europe.
I understand. I understand. Um, you need the link. Well, I could put the link to the show or the Discord.
Yeah, to come in the show, I think he means.
Okay.
You have to. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. For you, Vic, I'll do it, but you better have you better have your pants on.
yeah, yeah. I've heard stories.
For yours, I'm not until I'm presentable yet. I'm nowhere near. Not that I'm normally presentable anyway, but I'm still in like post hospital mode. So
I
not
just posted. What
shaven.
the hell? Why did it show up?
It showed up there. It's in the host, but he has to cut and paste it in order to log in from there. Now it's there twice.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. He just came out with some more stuff. I'm definitely gonna pick that up.
What's up, Vic?
I got to wear pants? No pants. I guarantee it. See? No pants.
What do you got? Shorts on?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Just
yeah.
shorts.
I'm wearing shorts
Look,
too. It's
look,
like
look.
I spent more than 40 years of my life in Orlando, in Florida, and maybe
it's like
yeah, more.
85% humidity today.
And I've only owned, like, I think I can count on one hand the number of pairs of shorts I've had.
I saw a
Well,
recent interview with
I plan on moving to
AJ
Florida,
Pickett.
and I will wear shorts all the time.
Yeah, as soon as I can get back into my shorts, because I gained a little weight thanks to freaking COVID, I would be a shorts guy too. Because I live in the desert, you know.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way: when I my very first episode of this show 6 years ago, I think yesterday. Today's the seventh, so yesterday was our 6 year anniversary. 6 years ago, yesterday, I could put on a size pair 29 waist shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how anorexic I was at the beginning of this. And then
Put on some
freaking
weight, man. Jeez.
well, now I'm like 200 pounds, and back then I was 145. So yeah, I need to lose some freaking weight. Um,
145. I haven't been that since before high school.
I I was gonna say my ideal weight was 188.
yeah, for me
Hey,
it's like
that was mine
165.
too.
That it's
188 was
165 is
my
about
ideal
mine.
weight.
But I like being skinny. And I was working out at the time and everything. Because I wanted to lose all the weight and then start over. You know what I mean? Not try to turn fat into muscle. It was get rid of the fat, then create muscle. But then
Yes.
COVID came and we couldn't do half the shit that we were doing on a regular basis. And I just started sitting around making videos and eating Fritos. So
yeah.
Well, when you get older, you put it on. I'm 250 now. I was one. What was that? When I went in the military, I was 180. So, I mean, it's just a
Oh,
gradual thing.
when I went into the military, I was 155. After basic and advanced training, I was 188.
Yeah,
And
you put it
When
on.
that was
Basic. I was
I
200 coming out of basic. So,
I had a phase in the 90s. I got somehow pulled into the whole line dancing thing, even though I'm a metalhead. And
hey, that's called communist two-step, is what I call it. When my girlfriend wants me to get out there and do the line dancing, no, I don't do the communist two-step. So,
dude, I got pretty good at it, man. I could kick over my head and stuff, we were showing off to all the tourists, I was in good shape, and like I said, I was 188, and you know, uh, I got down to, God, I was on the verge of almost size 32 jeans. I was in 34s, and they were starting to get loose on me, and then at some point I met my wife, and that's all it took. Yep.
that's what it is. You know what it is? It's when you start having kids, and the kids leave their food on the table, and you're like, well, I'll eat that. What the hell? It's like, all right, I'm not letting that go to waste. So,
Yeah.
back then, see, I was riding my boy to school like on a bicycle. I'd ride up to his school and then ride home, then ride back to pick him up, and then ride home through the desert. You know, so I was getting plenty of exercise. But as soon as we stopped riding bikes and just sitting
you gained
around,
4 pounds, right?
hmm yeah, I mean, Because we would try to ride our bikes, just for fun. But during the height of COVID out here, people were freaking out. You're not wearing your mask, or don't go outside. The wife would be like, "Don't go outside." That's where COVID is. And I'm like,
That's because you live in California.
Yeah, man.
dude, I never got the vax. Jackie, neither of us got the shot. Never wore our masks except Jackie would wear it from time to time. When he had to. Never wore it. Never got COVID. Wife and grandma got every vax, every booster, and caught COVID like 4 times.
I had COVID once, and it was because we went to my other nerdy hobby. We went to the Mecca convention of that hobby up in Dayton, Ohio, and then we went to a baseball game on the way back home at Red Stadium. And that was the first time I got to see my Cubbies win. They beat the snot out of the Reds, so that was good. Um, and yeah, about 3 days later, next thing you know, I was like, I don't feel good, and I left working about 3 in the afternoon, and then about the next day, my wife came down with it, and I slept it off 72 hours from beginning to end. My wife, she had stuff for about 10 days. But I'm the one with all those extra comorbidities and all that stuff, and neither one of
Same
us,
here. Same here. I've
neither
got
one of us got.
asthma, COPD. I was overweight. During that time, I was a smoker and nothing. But one smoking, they say, help keep you from getting it because of the nicotine and what nicotine does. The other thing is I was outside all the time, and the other thing was I didn't give two shits, and I also didn't do the hand sanitizer thing. I still get pissed
I
off.
don't like hand sanitizer. I don't like
I
the
still get
feel
pissed
of
off
it.
when I see people like obsessing and doing that. I'm like, it's just, oh my god, it's so.
I
we,
know.
we almost don't deserve what we've been given. We become so weak to so many things, and our ancestors. Not that I'm an ancestor guy, but they've got to be just so just disappointed and embarrassed.
Listen, guys,
Uh,
I'm going to be breaking for lunch real quick, but Vic,
Yes.
when is Dave Con? That's in April's right? April, May.
Yep. In April this year.
It's April this year, and 2028 is when Rob Kuntz is going,
Yep. Rob Kuntz is coming.
and
So,
that's in 2028, not
yep.
2027, right?
I
2028.
Nope.
I need I need
2028
to
he
get
said.
that man on my show, dude. I want to talk to Rob. I messaged him a couple of times, but I'm
I
sure
got
he
all his
gets.
information. So if you want it, just ask me and I can get you his information. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
so
mind meeting him as
I'm
well,
I'm
but
definitely, that might be my big, other than CNY, that might be my big event for 2028 is to finally make it out there
well,
because I
it's
mean
like I
that's
said,
just a
it's
great
3 miles.
convention
It's
too.
2 or 3 miles, depending on which airport you come into, because we got two terminals out here. But gee, you get free transportation from either of them to the convention. So
Yeah.
amen. It's not amen.
it's on your end that you have to worry about the transportation to come to Dave Con and how far you
Well,
got to
yeah, that's the issue. It's always airfare and everything like that. But maybe by 2028, fuel prices will be lower.
Well,
Or I might drive. I don't know. I think for me it's like a 13-hour drive.
I don't know, whatever it is to Chicago plus 6,
So, well,
Oh, you guys are 6 hours from Chicago?
400 miles.
Wow.
Yep, it's 400 miles, so 6 hours.
yeah. Yeah, well, it's specifically it's in what, Twin Cities, right?
Yep, it's in Bloomington actually. Just I
Oh,
mean,
Bloomington.
Pure blood, buddy.
Minneapolis is across the freeway, which is 100 yards or so from the hotel. So,
Right.
but
All
like
right.
I said, free transportation. I got the best deal for free transportation because I'm that close to the airport. It's just right there. It's
Cool.
you know.
Cool.
All right.
I'm not, and I'm not a $250 room night at like Gary Con or whatever you want to
Yeah,
pay. You know what I mean?
it's 2 o'clock. I got to take my medicine.
All
All right,
right.
guys, I got to
All
run.
right.
Good chatting.
You too,
Good seeing you,
Richard. I
Rich.
will see you this weekend, gentlemen. It is also time for me to hit the road.
Yeah.
I got some people stuff I got to take care of. Vic, I will back your thing in just a moment.
All right.
Death Angel, I will see you this weekend. I forgot to ask. I
Are
had
you
a
gonna? Are
question.
you gonna? Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, whatever that is Pacific,
Yeah, it's like
6 Pacific.
6, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, 9 Central.
No, it's 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, okay.
Well, 9 to
It's 6
11. Yeah.
so it's 6. I'm right in the middle of my game.
I know.
But
I know. Dave and George are going to be on, and I'm hoping they're trying to see if they can get an extra special guest to jump on with us. Somebody who we met at CNYCon. Uh, that I don't want to. I don't want to curse it though. um, but hopefully we get him on and get a DM's perspective of Arduin and kind of talk about that. So
yeah, it's during our Sunday game, and I don't think I've missed, but I missed some games not this past July, but the one before because I had some surgery, so I couldn't run games. But I don't miss my Sunday game. Even when we don't have a full boat, I'm still there, hanging out with the guys, which I think everybody should do. If you're playing online or whatever, and people can't make it, you show up anyways, and you get to know the people in your group. You know
oh, there you
makes
are.
just makes sense. But I will take my leave now because I gotta take something else. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys real soon.
All
All
right,
right. Hasta la vista.
baby. I couldn't help it, man.